What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at a Hasbro Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro card wave. So we have more Spider-Man figures here on the retro card backs that look pretty cool. So first off, we have three different versions of Spider-Man. So first off, we have Scarlet Spider or Ben Reilly, which looks really cool. Looks like it's got the newer body with the pinless joints. It's got the toe joints on it. So all the best movements there on the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man body. So that's cool. Then we have SpiderShot or Assassin Spider-Man. So unfortunately, his box got destroyed in shipping, so I can't get it to stand up, and it's hard to show, but there's what he looks like. Looks pretty cool there. So it's going to be like an alternate universe version of Spider-Man, as well as the Last Stand Spider-Man over here. It's kind of cool that we got two alternate universe versions of Spider-Man with this wave. And then behind that, we get some villains. So first off, we have Hallows Eve, which looks really cool. Love the look of this design with the black and orange outfit, so it looks perfect for Halloween, especially with the Hallows Eve name. Then we got Tombstone. So we got Tombstone in a suit this time, so it looks pretty cool. He looks awesome in that form. And then we get Jacko Lantern again in a newer body design with the classic like little flyer and stuff, so that all looks pretty cool. So all three of those villains look awesome to go along with our three Spider-Man characters here. So I am excited for this wave. So let me go and get these open and out of the box, and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Scarlet Spider, which we have seen multiple times before, but this is Ben Reilly, and he was a genetic clone of Peter Parker created by Miles Warren to torment Spider-Man, but he seemingly died during their first encounter, but he actually went into exile and returned 5 years later to make amends with Peter, and they became friends and began working together as the Scarlet Spider. And of course, for powers, he has all the exact same powers as Spider-Man since he is a genetic clone of him. He just has this different design, which is really cool and classic, at least to me. Love it with the all red spandex outfit from head down to toe, and he is on the newer Spider-Man body, so the all pinless joints with the like Renew Your Vow body, so it has the ab crunch and then the toe joints as well. So it's gonna have some of the best movements we can get, and overall looks pretty cool. So like Spider-Man has the eye designs up there, so it looks pretty nice with the white eyes on the red. That looks awesome. And he's got the blue like hoodie design, of course, with the sleeves cut off and bottom cut off as well, but has the spider logo on it. And then I love how it's the like white ties and stuff, and the hood there in the back with the spider as well. And it even looks like the hood's almost been cut off just because it's all ragged there. And then he's got a belt with all these like capsules around it as well as around his wrist, so I love that there. And then we go down his legs, where towards his boots we do get these like ankle pockets as well, so he has some space to store stuff there down on his ankles as well. Overall, this figure just looks really nice. Like, I love the paint designs they did. I wish the blue was maybe a little bit brighter blue, but other than that, everything about this just looks really nice. It's just a nice smooth looking figure. But for movements, we get that that'll twist all the way around. Of course, you see that dumbbell joint in there, so it'll twist around and can look down that far and up that far. So not horrible movements, not the best. It could be better if it was on hinge, but not bad for what he's got. And then we get the shoulders that do come up to 90. There is a butterfly joint. Of course, it feels real stuck in here. Oh, it feels, yeah, it was stuck, so it can move back and forth there, so pretty decent. And then can rotate around as well. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up that far. And again, with the pinless joint, it's sometimes a little stiff, but good range, and the wrist will twist around and hinge back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch, which of course the upper crunch will be hidden under the sweatshirt, but it can crunch back and forth a little and twist around in there. And then we do get the crunch at the waist as well, so that far forward and that far back, so pretty good crunching back and forth. Then we go to the hips that come up to 90 and out to the side, so it goes out that far, can't fully do the splits. But then we get a thigh twist all the way around the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, not too bad. And then we get a shin twist there in the middle of the leg that'll twist around, and then we get the foot that'll flex back and forth and can hinge side to side and has the toe joint on the end. So pretty decent movements. Now I wish with this body we got even better, with the legs that go out farther and like, fully bend up legs, could actually like kick his butt. Just wish overall there was like the best range possible. So they added more joints like with the ab crunches and then the toe joints, but then I feel other joints still could be improved. But accessory-wise, we do get some additional hands. So, of course, with the fist, we get some wall crawlers. So, always classic to go with a Spider-Man. And then we also get the foot pants. So, always got to have those for shooting the web. So, probably end up switching those out at some point. But that's like the usual accessories we get. And then, of course, we have had the Ben Reilly before Scarlet Spider. So, here's that older figure. Of course, we have had this twice before. So, this version and then the metallic version as well. So, you can see they changed the height. So, this new one's much higher. The colors are much brighter. So, just everything's better and improved on this new figure, and especially this old one is not held up in storage very well, so definitely awesome to get this new Ben Reilly to add to the collection and replace those other ones. And next up, we have SpiderShot, which is Peter Parker of Earth 8351, which is an alternate universe Spider Man that has left Mary Jane and became an assassin working alongside Wolverine. So he's known as Assassin Spider Man or SpiderShot, as we have him here. Now, he has all the same powers as Spider Man, but he's also highly trained in hand to hand combat and an expert marksman that uses guns. So, again, a part of the assassin name there. And overall, looks pretty cool. So, mostly, does look like a Spider Man with the red and black outfit design. So still has the Spider-Man, especially like in the face, looks like the more modern Spider-Mans. I love how it's got the black eyes on the red face, so that looks cool, almost like alienish to me, but then looks cool with the V that comes down in red with the spider going across it there, connecting with the one on the back. Black down the arms and midsection everywhere else, has like some pockets here around his waist, and love the red line there, some red around his hands going into the all black glove hands there, and then black running all the way down to his V. So we don't have that same body, but it is still a nicer, newer Spider-Man body with the pinless joints on it, and overall looks relatively decent. Now, moon-wise, we get that'll twist all the way around, again on the dumbbell joint, so it can look down that far and up that far. So again, not horrible, but could be better. We get the shoulders that come up to 90 with the butterfly, so really good range on this figure back and forth, and can rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends up that far, so not too bad, with the wrist that'll twist all the way around and hinge back and forth. Then we get the ab crunch, so we have the upper crunch there, so crunch back and forth a little and can twist all the way around. And then we have the lower ab crunch as well, so can crunch forward and back there, so good with both of those crunches. And then we can go down to the hips that come up to 90 and out to the side that far, thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, not too bad, a little bit closer to kicking his butt it seems, with the shin twist there in the middle of the leg and the foot flex back and forth and twist side to side. So overall, this body seems pretty much similar to that Ben Reilly one, just doesn't have the toe joints, which I don't care too much about the toe joints, so it could have just been on this body as well, because everything else about it pretty much matches, but overall it works out just about the same, so not much difference between those. Then we get some extra hands, so we get some fist hands, so got fist to go with him this time, and then of course, since he is Spider-Man, the set of whip hands as well, so gotta have those to shoot the web. But as I mentioned, he does use guns. Now, they don't give us guns with this figure, but they do have these weird hands that kind of, I guess, could be like guns. But what they did was they did put a hole in there, so it's hard to really see, but there is a hole in there. So we do get some effects, so like little blast effects that we can take and stick into the hands. So it's like he's shooting out of his hands, which is kind of weird, I guess. I don't know if Spider-Man can really shoot out of his hands. Like I said, it says he uses guns, so I don't know why they just didn't include a gun. And I guess if you get them in the right position, they're more flat on one side, so can easily fit down in there in the hands, so you can have those. So Spider-Man can be shooting this out, I guess, so he can be shooting. I don't know how you get him to pose up, but it looks cool with the blast coming out of his hands. But like I said, it'd be cool if they just gave us guns instead of the blast effects there out of the hands, which, like I said, do look cool. Just I don't think that it's kind of weird that he's shooting from his hands, but overall I think it does look really cool. And for the last Spider-Man of the wave, we have Last Stand Spider-Man, which is Peter Parker of Earth 312500, which is a possible future version of Peter Parker shown to him by Madam Web, where Peter Parker kills Kraven the Hunter for revenge and changes his life to be darker and deadlier. He hurts his loved ones and is abandoned by his friends, and he gets a new costume and becomes an anti-hero. And years later, he's an old man and he's confronted by the NYPD, but he refuses to surrender and they shoot him dead. And once again, since he is Peter Parker, he does have all the same powers as Spider-Man, but here he looks pretty cool. So this is kind of a weird design, so he still has like the mask covering his face, very similar to Spider-Man. Looks pretty nice there with the white eyes with the black surrounding it, so that all looks nice. So nothing really different there, just not texture and stuff. I do like that there is some lines into, I can't really get it to show you. Yeah, you can see some of the lines there running through it, which is cool. Then he's got this leather jacket on, so like this red leather jacket, which looks cool with some black in it. So we get the Spider-Man logo there on his chest, and I love the flap that comes over. That looks nice. Love the red running down the arms all the way to the gloved hands as well, and then more black on the back side with the big spider logo on it there. So I just think this jacket design looks pretty cool. Then he's got some pants on. Don't know if they're leather pants or just supposed to be like black jeans or something, but they look pretty cool. Nice little designs into them as well. You can see the pockets and stuff back there, and then he's got black boots on his feet as well, so almost looks like a biker or something in this form, but overall just looks pretty nice, and especially with those gloves with the red on the outside, black on the inside as well. So I actually just really like the design. Like once I got this figure in my hand, I just really like the way it was designed. But for movements with that, they'll twist all the way around. So a little bit hard there going around the collar, but it can twist around and look down that far and up that far again on that dumbbell joint in there. And it feels like he does have some movement down at his lower neck as well. So is some movement there as well. Then we get the shoulders that do come up to 90 and can rotate around. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends up that far. So that one bends all the way up on itself. So that's good, with the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch. So again, with the jacket design, hard to really tell what's going on, but he does crunch back and forth there and can twist around as well. So it kind of feels like it's more down at his waist is where all that is. Then the legs will come up to 90 and out to the side. Thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that bends up that far to the back, not far from kicking his butt. And then the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So decent movements overall. So I feel it'd be a little more limitations, especially like with the jacket. Of course, we don't get all the ab crunches, but he still has some crunching in there. And then the rest of the joints did move pretty good, especially, those elbows bent all the way up, and the knee had pretty good range as well. So pretty good movement overall for this, even though it doesn't have everything like those other Spider-Man. And unlike the other Spider-Man, he doesn't come with any whip hands, so no web shooting for him, but he does have the fist hands to go along with what I'd call like the claw hands or whatever he's got on there. So that looks pretty cool overall for him. I, like I said, didn't really care too much for this Spider-Man going into it, but once I got out of the box and in hand, I do really like. I just love the design of the jacket, the way the body moves and everything. They did a really good job on this, so very cool figure for this version of Spider-Man. And next up, we have Hallows Eve, whose real name is Elizabeth Tyne, or Janine Godby. Now, Elizabeth had been abused by her father until she killed him in self-defense, but while on the run, she changed her name to Janine Godby, and she met Ben Reilly, who was in exile at this point, and they formed a relationship until eventually she was kidnapped and forced to fake her death by Kane, who was jealous that Ben had found happiness in life. So Ben returned to New York City and became the Scarlet Spider, and she eventually headed to New York to be with Ben, but Kane ruined their reunion, and Janine decided to confess to the murder of her father and went to jail for many years. But after her release, she and Ben lived together, and Ben eventually joined up with Madeline Pryor, who used the finger of Sim to give Janine power of Hallows Eve, which allows her to create different masks with different powers or effects. And overall, she looks cool here. So, and I saw some design again, like I mentioned, with the design and look. She looks very much like a Halloween character with all the orange and black, and looks pretty cool. So we have a look at her face there. So she has this all white face, nice like red lipstick, and the black domino mask around her, yellow eyes, which is crazy. Just looks very Jokerish in the face to me. And then you can see she almost has like a bob haircut with this orange color hair, which of course mixes in with the hood, so it's hard to really see the difference. And it is like glued together, so I can't really show you the difference, but she does have the haircut on there, again with that hood over the top, so she has kind of like the goblin like hood or whatever. And I love how it's got tatters around the openings there, and that is attached onto her head, so it's always around with it. And then going down to her costume, we do have this scarf piece around her neck, so she has this thing with two pumpkin faces on there, so like Jacko Lanterns, which is cool, and that just hangs off the back. And again, love the tatters on that. And then she does have some nice purple design on here, don't know what it's for exactly, but just around her shoulders there's some purple, and then black everywhere else up on the shoulders, down the midsection to the legs. And then she's got sleeves that come up her arms in orange, and again tatters at the top of those, and similar with boots that come up with the tatters on them. So that looks pretty nice overall. And she does have the more recent female body with the pinless double elbows there, so that looks pretty cool overall for her. Now for movements, we get the head that'll twist around, so we can twist it all the way around. Like I said, the hood just attached, so it had some limitations, and then she looked down that far and up that far. So again, not the best moves ever, but not horrible either, just that hood's always in the way. Then we get the shoulders that do come up to 90 and can rotate around as well. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that again sometimes are stiff but can bend all the way up on itself there, with the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch, so under the chest, so crunch back and forth and twist around. And then we get the hips that come up to 90, out to the side, thigh twist all the way around, the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, and then we get the foot that'll flex back and forth and twist side to side. So good movements overall, nothing really to complain about there. Like I said, just obviously the stiffness in the pinless joints that you have, but overall everything else about her works out really good. Now for accessories, we get some additional hands. So we get some fist hands. She has 2 grip hands already, so we get a set of fist hands as well as a set of like the more magic hands or whatever you want to have those. She does come with a satchel to hold all of her masks. So she comes with the satchel we've seen with all like the goblin characters. So we get this purple satchel that we can put on her. Now one thing with this, I do think it's easier if you take her scarf piece off. So we can just take this off. It's not attached or anything. It's just kind of sitting around her neck on her shoulders. So if you take that off first and get this around her and then put this back on, it kind of works out a little better. So there she is with the satchel and the scarf around her. And then she comes with some of the masks to show off her powers. Now I don't know exactly what they do, because like she has a list of different like masks and shit she's used in the past. And one thing she kind of uses a lot of, like, I want to say like the universal monster sort of mask. So we get a vampire mask or like a Dracula mask. So maybe she can use this and like drink blood or something, since it has blood hanging off of its mouth. So that looks cool. Now with this mask, we can actually put it on her as well. So with the hood design, we can sort of get this up under there and get it to somewhat look like it's on her face. So you can do that, but obviously we can just put these in her hand as well with the grip hand she's got. So she can just hold on to the mask like that. And then she also comes with a devil mask. So a nice red devil mask looks cool. So I can't get this on her face because of the horns up top. It's hard to do that. But overall, that looks cool as well. So we can put this into her other hand. So there she is with the 2 masks. And again, she can put either one of those on and get different powers. So I don't know what the devil would be besides just being evil or some sort of like devil powers, but not sure what that mask would give to her for powers. But like I said, the Dracula, all I can really think of is she can like drink blood or something. Again, I'm not sure what that does, but overall, I think that looks cool. An overall nice looking figure. I wish the mask would make a little more sense and it'd be better. And then it'd also be cool if you could actually store the mask within the satchel. But again, it's just that same satchel. That's a solid piece, so can't store them in there. But overall, I just love the design of her. Like I said, this would be a nice like cool Halloween decorations because she just screams Halloween. So once again, just an awesome looking character for Hallows Eve. And next up, we have Tombstone, whose real name is Alonzo Lincoln, and living with albinism made him an outcast, and to make up for his looks, he began to exercise intensively, becoming a school bully nicknamed as Tombstone. And after leaving school, he became a mob enforcer, and while working for Hammerhead, he got locked in a chamber in a chemical plant that filled with a preservative gas called Diox-3 that mutated him and gave him indestructible skin. And of course, with this, he has superhuman strength, reflexes, and durability because of that skin, and of course looks pretty cool here. So he's just pretty much a big guy with pale skin because he's an albino, and now his skin is indestructible because of that gas. And overall, this looks cool. So this is more of like his mob look and looks pretty cool here. So he's in an all suit that looks really nice. This would be a good bodysuit, but unfortunately, because of the way it's designed, you know, it's got always have this blue with pinstripes, so I feel that'd be sort of limiting for use for other characters. And then the way his head's designed, you couldn't use it with any other characters, unfortunately, but just looks nice. Just a nice suit design. I feel this is a new one since, you know, I'm not 100% sure on these, don't remember everything, but this suit does seem newer and like has, of course, has pinless joints, which we've probably had that before, but just the way it looks on him is nice. And then it looks like in the legs and stuff, and especially down to the feet, we have different designs than we normally do for these suited bodies. But he is a tall character, so he's going to be probably the tallest out of the group, but overall just looks really nice. Love the design of this. Like I said, the only thing I'd probably prefer him not in a suit, but he just looks good as this. But we'll do the movements. So his head, like I said, is different. So his joint is down in the neck here. So if you like turn the head, it's going to turn that whole thing around. And then like looking down and up, it's all in the neck there. So his head here is all solid, which looks cool. I forgot to mention he has the flat top haircut design, which is cool. So like I said, that will limit what bodies this can be used on. But we can go to the shoulders that come up to pretty close to 90, not all the way, but close to it, and rotate around. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint. Again, with the pinless joints are always going to be stiff, but pretty much bends all the way up on itself, which is good. With the wrist that'll twist around and has the hinge up and down hands. Then we go to the ab crunch again with the Jack. It's going to be hard to tell, but he does crunch a little back and forth, so just a tiny bit, and twist around as well. Then we go down to the hips that can come up that far, so not all the way up to 90, and I'm forcing as much as I can there. And then out to the side that far, we get the thigh twist all the way around. the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, so pretty much kicking his own butt there. And then we get the foot that'll flex back and forth. Now, unfortunately, his like foot is real stiff or something. It's hard to get the joint to move, unfortunately, but once you do it, can get it there. It's just stiff, so it can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So it is different. We have like a full foot design instead of like the old like dress shoe designs where it's kind of just the lower half there, and the feet are not very stable, and like they can only go so far for it. So I always have issues with characters standing and falling over and stuff. But these are full feet, so they work out really good. And there is ankle twist as well, so that joint for the ankle does twist around as well, so it adds a little bit more movement in there. So overall with that, it makes him pretty easy to stand up, and so I'm happy that they have this newer student body. Hopefully they can reuse the parts for other characters going forward instead of getting the same old one we've had. And for accessories, we get some additional hands of fist. So as usual, always got to get fist hands. So he's got fist hands, which will probably be useful for Tombstone. And then we get an additional head as well with an angry face. That I like that look a lot. It reminds me a lot of Frankenstein. Of course, his whole look looks like Frankenstein, but just with his teeth shown. But you can see his gums there, and then his eyes look all crazy. So we can switch this out, and again, the whole head just comes out there at the neck, and we can replace this. So there's that look. So like I said, I like that a lot. And now, as I said, he is a mobster and everything, so it makes sense why he comes with a trigger finger hand, but he doesn't come with any guns. So we don't have any guns to go with him. Obviously, we can take them from other characters, but like I said, with that, it probably makes more sense why he would have the fist hands. And of course, we have had Tombstone before, so here is our older figure, which I do like this a lot. Like, I like this outfit design. This is probably what I'd prefer him more to look like, but then like would be cool if they could have just taken this, updated it with the new body design, and given him this look, because I obviously like the head and stuff on this newer one. But this outfit and everything doesn't look bad at all for him. Like I said, I just wish the body was upgraded, because this body again hasn't held up too well. But overall, I like this. It'll awesome to add with Hammerhead. I should have grabbed him to put them together, but just looks cool in this suit. So really showing off his mob connection there, being dressed in a suit. Overall, I think he looks really awesome. And our final figure today is Jacko Lantern, whose real name is Jason McIndale. At least that's the one I chose since he was the first one, but there's been multiple people who have been Jack Lantern. But he was recruited to the U.S. Marines while attending MIT to become a fighter pilot, but he was discharged from the Marines to become a CIA field agent, but his tactics were deemed too brutal and extreme, so he went on to become a mercenary and adopted the costume of Jacko Lantern, and eventually years later he would become the new Hobgoblin, which we've talked about that before with the Spider-Man animated series version of Hobgoblin. So overall, looks pretty cool, and of course with a lot of this design you can see where Hobgoblin came from, because we get a lot of, the pumpkin design, the chainmail on his body, of course a flying glider, all that sort of stuff, using bombs that look like pumpkins, or in this case just orange balls. So a lot of similarities between them, but overall this looks cool. This is such an awesome body design. So we get the big pumpkin head with on fire, so looks like a pumpkin, almost looks like an orange that's had like the outer skin peeled off of it, but looks cool because of course the jack-o'-lantern cutout design with the yellow on the inside, even has the stem up top, and then the flames that come off all around it. Which for his body, he does wear complete armor made of Kevlar, as well as a bulletproof helmet that has a 3-hour air supply on the inside, and it emits a low temperature flame, so this constant flame around him, so that explains the helmet there. And then as I mentioned, the armor, so we have this armor that looks like chainmail but looks pretty awesome, like the scale design that they get for the classic Marvel stuff, with this like piece around his neck. So I thought it was like a hood or something, but it doesn't really look like a hood design, but has a nice texture to it and everything, with the darker green compared to this more metallic lighter green. The dark green continues down the arms till we get the light green for the gloves, belt around the waist holding the different bombs and stuff, and then dark green continues down the legs to the boots that of course have like that cuff design, so like the Captain America boots there. So overall this is a pretty cool design, and then of course with his accessories he'll come with. But movements, we get that little twist all the way around, can look down that far and up that far, so not the best movements, but of course with a big pumpkin like this, probably not expecting too much. Then the shoulders will come up to 90 with a butterfly back and forth, and can rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up that far at least, so not too bad, with the wrist that'll twist all the way around and hinge back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch, we can see that cut out there, so crunch forward, crunch back, so pretty decent. Twist all the way around at the waist, so just under the belt. Hips can come up to 90 and out to the side. thigh twist all the way around, the double knee joint that bends up that far to the back, almost kicking his butt, with a shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So good movements once again, an all pinless body there, so works out pretty well for him. But as I mentioned, I think the coolest thing I like about him is his accessories. So of course he will come with some extra hands, so we get the fist hands as usual. We do get one of his bombs, so we use a bunch of various forms of bombs and grenades. So we have this one that can attach onto his belt, so it has a hole there that we can pop onto the peg. So that's the only one that'll come off. The rest are all permanently attached, but you can pull that one off. And then he does have a hand here that's made for holding, and I like how it's designed, because unlike the goblin ones we've got in the past where the hand's just somewhat cupped and it doesn't really hold too well, this one is actually there, so you put it in and it's not going to fall out. So that's really nice. I love it having that. So we have that weapon that he can now throw at people, so he can throw out one of his bombs. But then he also comes with his hovercraft platform, so it's almost like the goblin gliders, but you have it like this form, which it looks like a top and it does actually spin, so it's got the nice curve and you can spin it around like a top, but it's got the pegs there that we can put onto his feet, so we can just stick him on it. So there he is, of course, can be flying around now on it, but unfortunately you can't put it down because it'd be falling to the side. Like I said, you can use it like a top, you'd have to spin him fast to get it going, but the bottom does come off of it, so you can pull the tip off, so then it just creates that, which actually if you have him on it nice, it will stand up. So like there he is just standing on the platform, so if you take the tip off, it can stand just like that. But you can also use one of the like platform things, I don't know what you even call this, but they came with like the goblin gliders and stuff. You can use it and put it on one of those, and then you can have them floating up in the air, so you can have them up in the air on one of those if you have these around. Like I said, I think they came with like some goblins of some sort that have goblin gliders, so you can have them up in the air floating around like that, which is pretty cool as well. So I like the different variations with the platform, that it has the point on it if you wanted, to make it look complete, or you can take it off and have them just standing on it, so it's got a flat section, so it will stand flat, or you can use it on things like these and have them floating up in the air, which is really cool. Of course he's too high up there now, but overall I just think that looks awesome. So I love the look of the character, the way the platform works. Like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this isn't going to work out too well. They constructed it pretty smart, so where it works out in various forms, and overall I think that's awesome, especially because our last Jacko Lantern, or at least the last one we have, is this old one that's got like the old ball hips and stuff and barely stands up the way it looks here. But yeah, just a nice improvement from this old version to now this one. Of course it's like the original design form, but I think it just looks so good the way it is there. Well, that's going to be it for this Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro Card Wave, where we've got Scarlet Spider, SpiderShot, Last Stand Spider-Man, Hallows Eve, Tombstone, and Jacko Lantern. So all of these figures are really cool. I like a lot of them, especially like the three villains, or at least I assume Hallows Eve is a villain, but her, Jacko Lantern, Tombstone, love those. Love the Scarlet Spider on the new body. And then the two other Spider-Man are cool. Not necessary, just if you want to, create that like Spider-Verse and get all the different variations of Spider-Man, those two are cool to have. I really like the Last Stand Spider-Man though. Like I said, there's just something about him I really enjoy, so I could easily skip out on SpiderShot, but I think it's cool if a Spider-Man using guns, but how he has the bullets or whatever built into his hands is weird for the figure, but cool at the same time. But let me know what you thought of all these figures down in the comments. If you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see more videos. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.